has had fewer years than I do. Is that true? Carlson is well, you know that this is the salary cap structure that has been introduced to your franchise. Leo Carlson is making game-breaking money. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, this is it. This is exactly it. As much as the Anaheim Ducks want to do this, we all know that on the inside, Pat Verbeek is disappointed that it got this far. The fact that Leo Carlson could have signed for a lot cheaper earlier, and the fact that it's an easy decision, as Pat has intelligently left enough cap space for us to retain Leo. How so? How so? Is having the owner quote take the lead and attempt to spin this as a good outcome? Serious question. It's telling that organizationally, the decision was made to have the owner step in and publicly express alignment with the Hockey Ops leadership and try to restore confidence in the organization's direction. That is a really interesting element to this press release here. The Ducks franchise as a whole. That's a bad signal, isn't it? I suppose that the owner was going to be all over this decision one way or another because of the scope of the situation. Trevor McMillan is standing up with the GM. Not sure the conversation is as supportive behind closed doors. Owners are all over a lot of decisions without stepping into the breach in public. And that exactly is the way that Thomas Drance is framing this point. The fact that the owners have to step in there and make their statement first, it does say something. But either way, when you think about Carter Gauthier and thinking about what's going on here with him and his salary, that is going to be the fun one to watch now, especially since Gauthier still needs a contract for next season and beyond. What an off-season this thing's shaping up to be. We just made a video talking about Jason Robertson and how the Dallas Stars are now dangling him around in trade talks. We spoke about Leo Carlson last week and his big offer sheet. 4 first-round picks, they're going to keep him, but at the end of the day, you're thinking about the salary cap structure of the Anaheim Ducks. Things are now so much worse than they could have been if the Ducks just got these guys signed earlier. Kyle Michikov is making 7.2. Leo Carlson is making 18. Leo Carlson is making more than double every other forward on the Anaheim Ducks. He is making double the second highest paid player on the team in Jackson McComb. He is the most expensive player in the National Hockey League. And Carter Gauthier is very wealthy next. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about the Leo Carlson offer sheet getting matched? I didn't realize it got me this far. What in the world? The video's 8 minutes long already? Ay. That's ridiculous. I didn't even think I'd go that far. Sometimes the ramble is just too...
The new CCM Vision takes up a whole new fifth field, and they're so light. I gotta try it.
Would have been great on the third line, but it does speak to what it seems like the Leafs want to do. And I wanted to get to that because we've been wondering about rock construction. And one guy's contract that really sticks out to people is okay. You have to go to Josh, but why don't you get your name? And I think that's because there are 2 guys still left to move on this roster, and Dakota Josh is one of them. Morgan Riley's probably doing it. And they're still saying 75% he moved. I wouldn't know where or what. But Dakota Josh would have been an interesting guy because that's a guy who a couple of years ago was awesome and has had cancer since, and then a lacerated spleen last year and a couple other things too.
just ridiculously unlucky.
But there's a player in there.
I like him.
It's just an expensive player. Like, where did this come from? Because we did the roster like 4 days ago or something. There's no discussion about it. It's because it's true. It's because the Leafs were ready to bring him in, nothing, so he signed with Ottawa. And that's why I'm like, okay, so it's true. Joshua already doesn't fit.
The Leafs can afford their team now. They can afford this team. They can't afford to add to it in any meaningful way, right? So the fact that there's evidence out there that they are trying to add to it makes us go, okay, well, who are they taking off? Well, they're not taking off any of the new guys. They're just signers. They're not taking off Austin. They're not taking off Nylander. Theoretically, there could still be a nice deal out there, but I don't think so. So it leaves you with very few options, and the guy I landed on is Joshua.
Yeah. I'm curious to me that he's the guy when you look at it, it's like, okay, they didn't get through. Why would you be happy with the roster now? Well, maybe they are, because I don't know. I thought they had landed at the end of free agency on a pretty solid. Hey, we've got 12 guys here. Plus, I just put a major move around in that, and there is just more moves to make from that group.
Maybe the way they look at it is, we like our team. We want to get better. Oh, we can't do better? All right, we'll do better.
Right, and if you want to add Giroux, you have to say to do it, as well as you have to move somebody off of it, that I would take away from the defense if you're doing more than pilot, because then there's more than enough to do that.
Part of me is like, why did you send Roger? Like, I don't know. But, like, okay, let's lead into some things from this. So, Giroux can play center. He's not a full-time center. He's just like an option, like he take face off for you. Right-handed. He's right winger. I keep going back to right-handed. He's a right winger, but right-handed.
Right shot.
It's still something that I think this team feels like they want. And they still don't have a ton, right? They added, but Nylander, Roslovic to the best team, right? And obviously Radish on the back end. That's it. They want some more right-handed players.
Yeah, that's something I've been hammering for a long time. We're going to need anyways righty on that before, but I think if you're adding Giroux, that means there's a Morgan Riley thing. Like it didn't feel like it was Giroux who got swung on Joshua. Barber understood that.
No, I agree with you.
I thought for Joshua, are you, what are you expecting from this player? Right? What's their role? Are they a $3 million fourth liner, which is, pretty much up now?
Oh my God! Joshua was an unrestricted free agent.
You got the Tanner Fidel deal.
You have at least the Brandon Duane deal.
Yeah.
Which isn't much more than he's making right now.
Much less. Duane.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, he's not making much more than Duane.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Like to me, it was like, well, where does it all fit in? And you're probably not trading one of the guys who's top.
No, 100%. So yeah, like up front, there's just not a lot of options for guys to take away. But like you said, losing Joshua, like even if it's for a draft pick, doesn't do much for you. Trading Morgan Riley potentially does.
And it's pretty clear Max don't be done.
It's
yeah, it's more like yeah.
I'm kind of wondering if he does play, like the girls are captain, already, and they're trying to add to it. You know what I mean? So it seems obvious if they're trying to add. I mean, it's not obvious. It's just true. Like, if they want to add to this team, someone's got to go. No matter who that someone is.
What do you think that, San Jose and Anaheim were two teams that I thought, maybe, because we know that Morgan was willing to go to both teams, but right? Like, Anaheim can't afford it. Well, the Ducks literally San Jose probably could, but why would they? They've got a bunch of expenses to worry about, and they've already got two big defense in that.
If you still want to do it, this is what you have to do in order to afford it.
Yeah.
Or you
and then you're only on a 1-year deal rather than 4 more with Friday. That's Friday more than you.
What's the term here?
It's something in Scott. The deferred money, let me see that. It's a bizarre deal.
Oh yeah, we still want to try and sweeten her. Okay, Riley is at least an NHL player.
Petrano, I don't know.
What are the Ducks willing to tie to Petrano?
Petrano?
Oh, I know. Oh, I don't want it.
4.57 million.
For how long though?
For 2 years. Oh, 2 years? This year and next.
2 more years and deferred money.
No.
Like, money is the least. Who cares?
At least Riley plays hockey.
Yeah.
He can be in your lineup.
Well, I'm spitballing.
Yeah,
I'm trying to figure it out.
And I'm just saying, I'm not saying stop spitballing. I'm just saying that's not the guy. Like if it's Chris Kreider, for instance, if you would even accept a chance. But first off, he's a lefty. Don't necessarily want that. 50 points in 75 games last year, 22 goals. That's attractive, right? Alex Killorn on the last year, his deal, $6.2 million. He also shoots left, but he can play the right side. 33 points in 80.
Are you trying to do a Morgan Riley deal?
Yeah, he was like, if the cap space that they're gaining isn't enough. Yeah, because Morgan makes 11, and those two guys just make 6 plus. Right. So that doesn't make sense. You take AJ with it. Just sign there.
Now, video games taught me that actually makes you look bad.
Yeah, it does.
If you get on the guy and then trade him, that makes you look bad, and people don't sign with you.
But it's actually true that it does.
Do you imagine if like that was announced today?
Like Roscoe had his no trade today. They could do it right now.
Trade him. We'd all be like, don't take him along.
Well, still not worse than Vegas though, and they would do that. Hey, you'd like to think he was going?
Was it hilarious?
Was it informative?
Was it me losing my mind?
Oh, but that's most of the time. Hey, listen, if you like what SGPN has to offer, you should check out more of our videos and subscribe to our channel by clicking subscribe. Or Steve will fight.
100% of every student is donated to support the needy.
Hey, how's it going, guys? It's Nate here. So, I suspect most of you would probably know that by now. At least I hope so. Nonetheless, we gotta keep the tradition alive somehow. Anyway, Skyrim is a colossal RPG, a game rich in lands, narratives, and characters. The Elder Scrolls V offers players so much content that even over 7 years after their initial debut, there's still probably a lot most of you can have to learn about this chivalry and ancient land. So then we'll be continuing our eternal crusade to address such a problem, as we dive right into our 48th installment of 10 Tiny Details Improvements in the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Started off, this last Thirsty level is perhaps my favorite offered by the Dragonborn DLC. We've discussed it at length in previous videos, so I'll try to quicken my description. In essence, it centers around a conflict between the tribe of Vikings who have recently captured and are currently occupying a Great Hall, and the exiled groups of Nords they captured in front. It will then be up to the Dragonborn to choose to help the helpless humans take back their tavern, or cast your dying with the goblins, and aid them in finishing off the small remnants. If you choose to back the Vikings, you'll be rewarded with the ability to recruit some of them as companions. And this is where things get pretty neat. Because if you've also installed the Hearthfire DLC, have a household with one or more adopted children, and bring a Viking companion home, believe it or not, they'll actually comment on it with some unique dialogue.
Is that your thing? Really? Wow, he looks tough. Is that your cat, Papa? He looks real scary.
Now, this is especially noteworthy because the Hearthfire expansion released before the Dragonborn DLC, and further inspection of these audio files revealed that they were recorded and released with Hearthfire when the DLC dropped, not added in via a later update. This means when Bethesda was developing the Hearthfire expansion, they must have already knew their intentions to add in a Viking character, and had their voice actors record the appropriate lines early. Looks like Todd must have been one step ahead. Next on the list, after completing Ill-Met by Moonlight, the Daedric god of the hunt, Percy's personal quest, wherein he asks that you hunt down a few woodland critters and a werewolf. If you do his bidding the whole way through, he'll reward his new champion with a unique artifact, the Savior's Eye, a special light armor pierce that offers 26 points of base damage protection, plus additional magic and poison resistance. Oh, it looks pretty cool. Well, what you might not have known is that this object first appeared in the 1997 release of the Elder Scrolls Battlespire, where it could have been found in the Chimera of Desolation. Curiously, the Chimera of Desolation was a realm within the ruins yet God's plane of Oblivion. After Battlespire, the Savior's Hide again made an appearance in Morrowind, where it was identified as an artifact of her scene, and then later appeared in Oblivion, of course Skyrim, and even the Elder Scrolls Online, making this piece of apparel among the oldest, most ancient in the franchise, both speaking in terms of lore and game release. Coming in number 3, while we're still talking about Daedric gifts, Azura, the Prince of Dusk and Dawn, will ask the player to assist her in purifying one of her special artifacts, a powerful soul gem known as Azura's Star. Recently, an overconfident mage stole it and locked himself inside. She'll request that the donor can find where the star is and go inside of it to bring him out. The quest is quite entertaining, and among my favorite in the game. After your job has been done, assuming you don't betray her, which you can do, Azura will allow the player to use the now purified version of her star in gratitude. It's not a particularly overpowered item as opposed to so many of the other quest rewards you can find. It really just functions as the soul gem that's capable of holding multiple souls rather than just one. However, something cool about the item is that while you have it in the inventory, if the player approaches the guard, some unique custom dialogue will be unlocked, and they may say the following statements in amazement.
You absolute star. How could such a thing be possible? Why, sure. Instead, you get an Azure Star.
How do you come to say something like that? How they know what you're carrying in your own pockets is who's been assigned by the Emperor's staff to help you prepare his dish. Gianna's never met the gourmet in person before, but is quite familiar with his, or I suppose, your work, and deeply idolizes the character. So when she meets you for the first time, she'll react in awe, and just generally be quite starstruck when she realizes who you are. Though, seeing that she's never met the gourmet before and is unfamiliar with what the character looks like, Gianna will take a comment about the player character's appearance that will actually vary depending on which race you selected at the beginning of your playthrough. Take a listen to some of her best reactions.
I never would have guessed it. But where in the world did you learn to cook like that? Here in Skyrim? Or maybe somewhere less? It's just, well, New York. The people of the Empire only knew. I mean, now I understand your need to secrecy. Bullshit. John, huh? Never would have guessed it. So many of your recipes are clearly aimed at the common folk. It just seems... Oh, I never imagined the gourmet was a technique. You know, because of all the fur and the potential for getting hair and the...
Halfway through at number 5, the book Atlas of the Dragons is one of the rarer titles in individual spot. There's only one copy in the entire game that's guaranteed to spawn in, which can be found at Skyhaven Temple in the Reef. The contents of the work are simple enough. It was written a few thousand years ago by members of the Dragon Guard, a faction of individuals who dedicated themselves to wiping out the Dovas from Tamriel after the Dragon War concluded and the Cuban Revolt was successful. The tide sort of turned in that sense. This book lists names that provide short descriptions of pretty much every single dragon they ever do of. Most of the dragons featured in that book, the dragons aren't already killed, they were just sort of logging in their entries, but there is a small subsection of Atlas of the Dragons that contains names of the Kudovas that survived and were still on the run. These include some familiar names such as Vermilmir, that first dragon we actually face off against and hopefully defeat at Whiterun, as well as Argonauts. But among the still living Dovas is one seemingly insignificant fellow named Avalon. Not too much information is given on him, other than that he is believed to have fled to Morrowind and been there since around the Second Era. Additionally, we never face off against this dragon in Skyrim. He's nowhere to be seen. Okay, so what's the big deal? Just a dragon that was running around Morrowind after most of its hidden past, sometime after the Dragon War. Doesn't seem like a very significant incident. Well, you see, there's another unrelated book players can come across titled Twin Secrets. It's an champion's game that spawns randomly in dungeons and within the inventories of merchants. And it was written by a mage an unknown amount of time ago. The book tells the tale about how the author, while in Morrowind, specifically Vardenfell, battled against a dragon, and upon defeating the beast in combat, it refused to give him its name, but did agree to teach our narrator how to combine two enchantments onto a single item, which apparently is a pretty big deal in the magical world, but I digress. Many players are under the suspicion that the dragon the author of Twin Secrets did battle with must have been Avalon. He was one of only about 4 dragons known to be alive at the time, and likely the only one active in Morrowind. It is also possible that perhaps a few extra dragons survived that the Dragon Guard just never knew about. However, the coincidences seem to be rather significant. 6. Speaking of enchantment skill books, the Enchanter's Primer is another one that could commonly be found being sold by vendors or randomly within various containers and shelves. It's meant to serve as the reader's introduction to the practice of enchanting weapons and armors, explaining the origins of the practice, how it's done, and some basic tips. Well,
The author of this book is credited as a man named Sergius Tyrannus. And if that sounds somewhat familiar to you, it's because he's actually a character we can meet in-game. Sergius is an imperial professor of enchanting at the College of Winterhold. He doesn't play a very important role at the college, or at the very least not in its questline, and operates more or less as a background character. But still, it's cool to know that this NPC few players will ever pay attention to has done a bit more than most of us ever would have guessed. Next, Malor Seloth is a Dunmer steward serving your career of Winterhold. At first, Seloth's occupation of this position comes across as a bit odd, because Courier is known for his suspicion and possibly hatred of all Elvenkind. So it's weird that he'd appoint one to such a high status in his own court. However, if you speak with Seloth, he'll reveal that he was given the title of steward shortly after moving into the town. Not because the Jarl actually saw anything in him, but instead he wanted to keep Winterhold's only dark elf close by, where he could watch him, convinced that Mr. Seloth might have some connection to the college due to his elven nature.
I don't really know anyone at the college. I guess everyone just assumed I do because I'm a Dunmer. It turns out that if people think you're some sort of secret wizard, they'll let you get away with the law.
But of course, as we know, he doesn't. As a result of his inexperience, and quite frankly his lack of desire to be a steward in the first place, Malor is pretty bad at his job. When spoken to, he'll demand the player not ask him to do anything, and when inquired about his responsibilities, the elf will be quite stern in saying that he has none, and would like to keep it that way.
I'm trying to do as little as possible. You're getting in the way of that.
Funnily enough, if Winterhold was captured in the name of the Empire during the Civil War questline, Malor Seloth will remain the steward to the new Jarl, Kraldar, and you'll get a watch as Kraldar and his new staff try and get Seloth to do his job. To little avail.
Malor, I need to take care of something. No, I don't think so. Not today. I haven't even said what it is. Doesn't really matter. Thanks, but no.
Coming in at number 8, Boltsy Gurion is a dark elven sailor working on the crew of the North Wind, a ship currently docked in Windhelm. When she's not working tirelessly on her vessel, Boltsy can be found enjoying the fires of Candlehearth Hall. She doesn't offer much in the way of things to talk about, and doesn't have any role in any quests. So she's pretty much just another one of those filler characters we mentioned earlier. That said, it would appear Boltsy isn't quite as generic as our initial suspicions would lead us to believe, as in the Elder Scrolls Online, which takes place roughly 1,000 years before any of Skyrim does, we're given the opportunity to work with one of her relatives. At the docks of Vivek City in Morrowind, a Dunmer sailor and merchant named Andrino Gurion can be encountered, and she'll offer up a mission to go rush a delivery of some late mushrooms to one of her clients. Considering the identical surnames and similar professions, it seems Boltsy is almost certainly Andrino's descendant. Their entire family house likely has some connection to seafaring. That's probably why she was given her name Boltsy in the first place. Admittedly, I suppose it's also technically possible everything here is just another giant coincidence, but I wouldn't bet on that being the case. While we're still in Windhelm, getting close to the end here at number 9, upon the Dragonborn's first visit to the city, you can bear witness to a conversation between a young boy, Grimvar Poolsey, and his dark elven nanny, Edessa Sadri, play out on the streets. Grimbar wants to know if the rumors about Aventus Artino, a fellow Nord boy who recently escaped the orphanage in Ripton and returned to his previously abandoned home in Windhelm, are true. Grimbar's heard Aventus is performing the Black Sacrament in his house, and demands answers. His nanny will let known is that Grimbar's suspicion of Aventus has a part to play, albeit a very minor one at that. You see, if the Dovington is Princess Sierra, the player home available in Windhelm, and has moved at least one adopted son in with them, then they'll have the chance to say the following phrase to the player randomly.
Everybody said a boy was in that strange house, all alone, with the dark blood of his being gone. Scared him up.
And finally, last on our list, Largashire is an orcish stronghold located in the region, just southwest of Lake Congo. It's ruled by a cowardly chief named Yarmars, who serves the primary antagonist of the First Drop, a quest wherein you and the chief, under pressure from the orcish patron god Alakat, are sent to go deal with the giants. And Yarmars ultimately turns out to let his cowardice get the best of it, and he tries to betray you. But you are the chosen one, the Dragonborn, savior of Skyrim. So, as you can probably guess, that whole treachery plan won't end up going the way Yarmouth plans. And after the quest is completed, a new chief of the stronghold will be named. But the narrative and attending politics of Largashire aren't the reason why I bring this location up. Instead, I'd like to focus on a detail that's more hidden. As towards the south back end of the stronghold, just behind a pile of wooden logs, the Dovington can stumble across a very suggestive hidden scene. Two bedrooms pushed next to each other, surrounded by candles with bottles of wine scattered all over the place. This, ladies and gentlemen, appears to be a location where at least two lovebirds were secretly engaging in quite a bit of romance. According to Orcish tradition, only the chief of a stronghold is allowed to take wives. So it would seem that Chief Yarlas was definitely one of the parties involved in this whole affair. That said, Yarlas is heavily implied to be sickly and not all that active, so it wouldn't be completely unfeasible that a different male orc was participating in this, and that's why they did their best to keep it secret. Whatever the case, it seems the political structure isn't the only thing getting shaken up at the Orcish stronghold of Largashire. And with that impressive metaphor usage, we are going to wrap up our 48th installment of 10 Tiny Details You May Still Have Missed in the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. What a ride it has been so far, and here's the 48 more. Thanks for stopping by, everybody. Which of today's details did you find to be the most intriguing, surprising, or otherwise fascinating? And what Skyrim Easter eggs, secrets, and/or hidden facts have I yet to cover? Leave a comment down below.
OffSeason is a catering company that focuses on full-service events.
With both
OffSeason is a catering company that focuses on full-service events and culinary experiences that are
food mods would look like. The rules are simple. Set mode, no items, no overleveling, no Gyarados, and I can use no more than 2 mods from each allowed region. So can we build a team to challenge Cynthia, Pokemon's strongest champion? Our journey starts now. Where we are not actually really getting a starter. I'm just gonna go with Chimchar because this gives Barry Piplup. It is round 204 with our first non-Sinnoh appearance. Not a Shinx, not a Badu, not even a Bidoof. We are really getting the icons with Platinum right now, but no, ladies and gentlemen, it's Purple! Now, fortunately, this is not our only Pokemon here. We can head up into, what is this, like Rabbit Path, Orbit Rabbit Path, and we can hit the Psyduck. First try, fantastic. That is just something I never run, and the reason I'm not picking up Zubat is because it's something that I recently ran in our last Kanto playthrough, Fire Red Leaf Green. I cannot forget the Quick Claw, one of the most important items in all of Platinum. And with that, it is time to really do our first real fight. Feel like I'm gonna get smacked. We've got the Starly lead, level 7. That is more than I was ready for. I'm gonna go for a Tailwind. You do have speed naturally, that's nice. Oh, okay. Quick Claw activated. Maybe it went for a quick attack. That actually might have saved us the hit. It's down, and then Piplup is going to come out, and we are actually going to swap to the Wurmple here. Wurmple takes a Growl. So from here, we want to go for Poison Stings. We don't care if we get Growl. We just want to hit Poison, because obviously that way it's going to take turn-by-turn damage. Ouch. Come on, Wurmple. You got this. 30%. Step number 3 should be it. Not quite. But another Growl puts us in great position. 4 Poison Stings. Odds are you hit it. Okay, 5 Poison Stings. You're so likely to hit it. Come on. Oh my god. Alright, well, next try. Now, Psyduck at least got a reset on its attack. Oh, come on. Yeah, keep rolling. This is good. And we are going to straight by this one with Psyduck. Displacing itself as the dominant water type of the beast. Okay, so that's 9. We got Water Gun, beautiful for a Rock Skin. There's the level 7. I don't know which one is going to be better, but I do think this is going to be important in determining whether we use it a little bit or not at all. It's going to be a Duck Fox, and Duck Fox will get 3 habitats. Again, other Falcons can also catch an Abra, but that's something you just need. In the Hoenn, the Shell Hoenn Pokemon playthrough, but also don't want to repeat on that. And that takes us to Order City, and we're actually going to head up to 207. We're going to pick up 1 more Pokemon before our first hit out. Now, there is Mewtwo here, but the guy we're looking for is Stop. The actual attributes of Stop are very important. We've got Timid Danger, increases speed, decreases attack. Okay, so this line is so slow that, like, even plus speed danger isn't all that useful. So we're going to roll for another one. Now, this one has a mile evasion, which increases special attack. That is awful. Number 3, Jolly Danger increases speed, lowers special attack.